Dumelang lona ditsela tsa ka tse ke di ratang ka pelo ka kaofela. I hope you guys are still doing well and you are safe wherever you are. For those who don't know me, my name is Rozie and I just want to welcome you to Chatz with Rozie. I actually asked my TikTok people 2 questions a few days ago, but I later realized that not everybody has got access to TikTok, but everybody has got access to YouTube, and I decided to bring this video here. First question was, do you think favoritism exists? And the second question is, do you think treating people the same is fair or equates to equality? Let me unpack by using my own childhood as a reference. If you know me on a personal level, you would know that I am the 3rd daughter out of my parents' 3 daughters, meaning that I'm the last born. Growing up, I overheard a conversation on a person insinuating that I might be my parents' favorite child, and this really dawned on me a lot, and it somehow affected my childhood, and also I believe it affected me and the decisions that I made in my adulthood. Reason being, I felt like it was not easy for me because I had to prove that I have my own identity, and somehow I felt like I had to prove that I am not the same and I'm not being treated differently. I am not being treated like a favorite. Like everything that I have, I had to work hard for. Growing up, I was a very sickly child. I had German measles and I also had a problematic respiratory system. I had asthma. So more often I had asthma attacks, and I believe this is the reason why I got so much attention from my parents, probably because it was life-threatening. I was in and out at doctors, I was consulting, I was under medication, so I needed to be monitored. But this can easily be misunderstood or mistaken as favoritism. Probably in your mind you're still thinking, no, you are the favorite child. Let me use this an example. Let's say you are the director of a company and you've got 3 employees and you gave them a task. The first one, you just give them a task and they are able to execute it from A to Z by themselves independently. The second one, you need to brief them on how they should do the task, and they will take it from there and execute it themselves independently. And the third one, they cannot do the task by themselves. You literally have to be there and do the task together with this person. My question is, I want to know, according to you, do you think it would be fair for you to treat each employee the same, despite or regardless of the needs that they have? And also, if you were to treat them the same, which rule would you apply? Would you give them a task and expect them to perform without explaining, like the independent first employee? Or would you brief them on how to perform the task like the second one? Or you'll simply sit with 3 of them to perform the task? Don't you think that the 3 employees would be frustrated because the independent one would rather do the work by themselves from A to Z, and the second one might be feeling, only I needed you to only brief me on what is expected and how to do it, and I can do it by myself? And what about the last one? Do you think if you just gave them a task and you expected them to perform, would they be able to cope? Probably you're still not convinced. Let me use an example that is relatable. Let's say you are a parent and you've got 3 kids. Your rule in your house is when you come back from work, you want to come back to a very clean house, and you also don't even want to see any kind of dishes in the sink. The first child, you tell them, when I come back home, I do not care when you do it, but when I come back home, I want to come back to a very clean house and I don't want to see any dishes. And they do exactly that. The second one, you need to send reminders. You need to check if they have done it until they get to do it. And the third one, cannot simply do the things by themselves. You have to be present. You have to be physically there to monitor if they have cleaned the house and also washed the dishes. I'm gonna ask the question again. Do you think it would be fair for you to treat them the same way? I'm guessing that the answer, it is no, because their needs are not the same. The first one, you tell them once, they do the task. The second one, you have to set reminders for them to do it. And the third one, regardless of the reminders that you send them, they still don't do it until you have to be physically there to monitor them. So it definitely would not be fair for you to treat them the same. You might ask yourself a question, why specifically this questions, Rose? The reason why I thought about it, it really hit home because I was one of the people who were called my parents' favorite, even though I felt that it was fair. And the way it was so serious, I had to even go to therapy about it, and I strongly believe it is the reason why I never even wanted kids, because I just felt like I don't want to find myself in a position whereby I'm being accused of loving one child more than the other. But I remember listening to a conversation on the radio. I think it was last week, Thursday. I was coming from the Christian meetings, and Metro FM had invited a psychologist. And I remember this psychologist saying, as kids from the same parents living in the same household, we will not experience our parents the same way. Let me make an example. If you are the firstborn child, you get all the attention. You do not have to share it with anyone. But as soon as there's a second child, you need to learn to share the attention with the second child. The same goes when the dynamic of the family keeps on growing. The first child might feel it's really unfair because they are no longer treated the same way and now have to share the attention of their parents with the other kids, whereas that was not the case when they were the only child. This is really possible, and a lot of family go through this without even considering this point. Also, another thing that I feel like we do not bear in mind is that as the years go by, dynamics also change. The family finances or the environment might have changed as well, therefore affecting the parenting styles. I remember the psychologist also saying that the middle child and the last born might even grow up resenting the other siblings or the parents because they felt neglected. And I could not hold myself but feel empathy for the parents, because whatever that they are trying to do, they are doing it to the best of their ability. Let me repeat the question again. Do you think favoritism exists? And also, do you think treating people the same, regardless of the needs that they have, equates to equality? If you want to say something about it, please do not hesitate to leave your comments on the comment section so that we can engage further. And also, I'm hoping this actually opened your eyes to a different perspective that I had compared to what you heard. And also, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe if you did like this video. Until next time, and I love you. Mwah.